Hello guys, welcome to Captain Dorcha's Armory. This is Captain Dorcha, and we're going to be looking at a battle that I had in this British tank right here. This is the Centurion Mk. I have not had this tank for very long, and as you can see, I do not have this tank fully upgraded. In the battle, I'm going to be saying that it's stock. That's not really true. At the time that I played this match, I had the tank in the following configuration. I've got the upgraded tracks. I've got the middle engine, the middle radio. I have the upgraded turret. I do not have the stock gun, which is the gun from the Comet. This gun right here, this is the Comet's gun. I have this gun, the QF 17 pounder Mark 7, which is the gun of the Black Prince. So I say that the tank is stock, but it's not really stock. It's about half upgraded. I also do have modules, equipment, and all that. I do not have 100% crew. They're only at about 92% or something at the time of the recording. And for crew skills, I just have repair on all of them at about 80%. So no multi-skill crew, no sixth sense, nothing like that. What I do have though is I have this gun, which is nice. I definitely have some legitimate upgrades to the tank. So we're going to take a quick look at the tank in the garage, and then we're going to get into battle. Now, a couple of things to note about the Centurion Mk. And the first one is that it's not very fast, only a 40 km per hour top speed limit. But the good thing is it accelerates very, very well, and it maintains speed very well. So while your top speed is pretty low, you're at top speed almost instantly. You go up hills really well, and you cross terrain really well. So in a sprint across flat ground, this medium tank is going to come in pretty much last. About the only thing it's going to be beating out in terms of raw speed is a super Pershing. But the acceleration and the ability to cross terrain quickly means that in a lot of situations you're not really going to be that much slower than a lot of the other mediums, and sometimes you're even going to come out ahead, which is nice. Currently, I've only got a Tier 5 Rolls-Royce Meteor Mark 4B engine, which is a 650 horsepower engine. It still gives the tank a power to weight ratio of a 14.46, which isn't too bad. That's only about 2 horsepower per ton less than my M26 Pershing, which has pretty good power to weight. And you can see here that the engine will upgrade later to a 750 horsepower, which will be nice. Just an additional 100 horsepower will really help this tank. Because, again, the way it compensates for its low speed is with high acceleration and high mobility over terrain. And to maintain that high mobility over terrain and acceleration, you need a lot of horsepower. So that engine upgrade will definitely come in handy. I also have, like I said, I have the 17 pounder gun. We'll take a quick look at the guns on this tank, and then very shortly we'll be in battle. So here are the 3 guns for the Centurion Mk. This is the stock gun right here. This is the gun that I currently have, and this is the gun you get when you fully upgrade the tank. So straight off, you start out with the same gun from the Comet, the QF 77mm Mark II, which is not a bad gun for a Tier 7 medium. It's pretty run-of-the-mill in terms of penetration damage for a Tier 7 medium. High rate of fire, 15 rounds per minute, 140 damage per shot, 148 penetration, 1.9 second aiming time, which is really nice. That's a very fast aiming time, and 0.34 accuracy, which is pretty reasonable. The real downside of this gun, if you're using it on a Tier 8, is for a Tier 8 medium, the penetration is unforgivably low, and that combined with low alpha damage is not acceptable for a Tier 8 medium. So I'm very glad that I did not have to use this gun at all on the Centurion Mk. You can manage it on the Comet without too much trouble by just knowing how to shoot and sparing use of premium shells. But on a Tier 8, I would end up firing premium pretty much every shot probably, which would really suck. So, I did not play a single battle with this gun. I went straight to this one. This is the gun from the Black Prince. It's a much, much better gun. It's the 17 pounder Mark 7. And you can see here you have almost the same rate of fire, 14.29, but you have 171 penetration with standard AP and 239 with APCR. You also have slightly better alpha damage of 150, same accuracy 0.34, and 2.1 second aiming time, which is still pretty fast. Basically, this 17 pounder gun, it's all about the damage per minute. You're not going to want to trade shots with the enemy. If you're going one for one, shot for shot with the enemy, you're going to come out on the losing end of the battle very, very fast, because almost every contemporary tank that you're going to be fighting is going to be hitting you back for at least 220 damage, and probably more like 250. So they're going to be doing 100 to 200 more damage per shot than you. So you definitely need to get this tank into a situation where you can utilize its very, very good rate of fire to make up for the low damage. Now, I found that 171 penetration, while not amazing, is definitely good enough for almost all situations. So even though I do have 20 premium shells in the tank, I have not used very many of them that often. Basically, I have these premium shells for very, very few situations, and those times include taking ranged shots at the sides of E75s when I need to be able to frontally penetrate an IS-3 or a Tiger II. These shots come in really handy. The premium shells on this are not strong enough to penetrate the front of an E75 from medium range, and if you're at close range frontally with an E75 in this tank, you are boned, so try to not let that happen. And then you can see here that the gun will upgrade to, this is the same gun as the AT-7, just the non-tank destroyer version, and this gun looks like it's going to be really good. I haven't used it yet on the Centurion, so it's too early to tell, but it still maintains a pretty good rate of fire, 7.5 rounds per minute, very, very good penetration for a tier 8 medium at 226. I think that is actually, without question, the highest penetration on a tier 8 medium tank. The Indian Panzer is the only one that even comes close with like 210, I think. So 226 penetration, that's going to be awesome. Basically, that's the penetration of a Tiger II or an IS-3 on a medium tank. That's going to be really, really nice. Plus, coupled with a pretty decent alpha damage of 230, that's fairly run-of-the-mill for a tier 8 medium. 0.33 accuracy, that's very good, and a 2.3 second aiming time. So I'm thinking the Centurion with this gun is going to be really, really nice. Just for quick reference sake, I want to look at that rate of fire compared to some other tier 8 mediums. So you can see that Pershing has a rate of fire of 7.32 versus a 7.5 on the Centurion. So the Centurion's got the Pershing beat for rate of fire. Let's take a look at a couple of other ones. I've got more rate of fire than the Type 59. That's definitely good. Let's see. Do I have any other tier 8 mediums just sitting in my garage here? I actually don't think I do. Tier 8 medium tanks are, they're good, but they just don't seem to survive in my garage. So just for reference sake, I do want to look at a couple of the other tier 8 medium guns. The Panther II only has a 6.5 rounds per minute rate of fire, so we can see that the Centurion will be able to beat that by a substantial margin. Not quite as good of a rate of fire as the Indian Panzer, though, which has an 8 round per minute rate of fire. Indian Panzer does have a very, very good rate of fire. That is one thing that tank definitely has going for it. Slightly lower rate of fire than the LB1 gun on the T-44, but only by 0.09 rounds per minute, and with better accuracy, better aiming time, the same damage, and 54 more pen or something like that. I would definitely rather have the gun of the Centurion than the gun of the T-44, and we're not going to compare to the Chinese medium tanks because they're all about the mad derp. So I'm thinking the Centurion with this Top Gun on it, the 20-pounder Type A barrel, is going to be really, really, really good. I'm really looking forward to that. For equipment on this tank, I have fitted a kind of the holy trinity: gun rammer, vertical stabilizer, and improved ventilation. Just to, vents with all crew skills, helps with all crew skills. Vertical stabilizers to lower the aiming time and allow you to fire quicker. When you have a gun with a high aiming time, getting the aiming time down even more is definitely an advantage. And when you have a gun with a slow aim time, getting the aim time down is definitely an advantage. So vertical stabilizers now go on pretty much every tank that can fit them for me. And a gun rammer, when your gun is about DPM, getting more shots out is definitely something that you need to do. Right, so that's pretty much everything in the garage. I didn't mean to go on for quite so long as I did, but I just want to talk about a couple of things about the tank before we actually go into battle with it. So now that we've done all that, we're gonna take this thing into battle. Actually, one more thing before we go into battle is that this tank has pretty good gun depression, and it's actually got a reasonably strong turret front. It's not amazingly good, but it actually has a fairly decent turret. So you can kind of go hull down with your turret over a ridgeline and use your good gun depression to be able to exploit your damage per minute. So that's definitely nice. And in the match that we're going to be looking at, that's something that I'm actually trying to do quite a lot of. So without further ado, let's take this thing into battle. Alright guys, so here we are. We are in the Centurion Mark 1. You can see we are not fully upgraded. We're on Porkarovka encounter mode. It's a tier 8 battle. Quite a few tier 8s. It's like 6 on the enemy team. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 tier 7s. And the balance. The remainder are tier 6s. So pretty good matchmaker, really. Our team, it looks like our team is actually a little stronger than the enemy team. I think we have 7 tier 8s, 3 tier 7s, and then the remainder are tier 6s. So I think we have 1 additional tier 8. So since this is encounter mode, and I am on the north side, I'm not going over towards the cap. I really think the way to win encounter mode in almost all maps is to actually take the area away from the cap, because everyone tends to focus the cap quite a lot, and what happens is you jam all your tanks into a small area near the cap and on top of the hill, and as long as the enemy has a holding force right here to keep you from breaking through, if they can sweep the field, they can encircle you in a tiny area and just kill you at their leisure. Plus, attacking onto the hill from the north side on this map is especially unfavorable, so I really don't like to do it. So I've come over into the field, and I'm trying to use the good gun depression of this tank and the relatively strong turret armor to put myself hull down and just work the rapid firing gun. Right now, with this tank being basically stock, I don't have the alpha damage of a standard tier 8 medium. I only have about 140 alpha damage, I think. Let me take a quick look. 150 alpha damage and only 171 pen. But this tank makes up for that with a really high rate of fire, which is pretty nice. When you can exploit your rate of fire with the Centurion, you can really push out the damage. The trick is getting to positions where you can exploit your rate of fire. So you can see here, our team is we've already taken out both of the enemy tier 8 mediums, and we're starting to push down this 1-2 line road. The enemy T-34 is just taking a pounding, as well as the enemy KV-13. So I put a final shot into the side of the T-34 and take him out. Start firing at the KV-13. I'm actually going to blind fire him a few times, because with this stock gun, my rate of fire is very high, and I can carry a ton of ammunition. So I blind fire a bunch of shots at that KV-13, but he ended up doing a death charge, which I did not anticipate. So while I was blind firing at like straight ahead, He'd actually driven all the way to there. Anyway, we're going to push up now on this Jumbo Sherman. Jumbo Sherman is no threat whatsoever to this tank, so we're just going to roll him with impunity. You can see that the Centurion doesn't have the highest top speed out there. I'm actually moving at my maximum speed right now, but I maintain my speed very, very well. I get to full speed basically instantly, and over terrain features, it keeps the speed better than any tank I've ever driven. So, while it's not as nice, it's not as nice for the flat sprint contest. It definitely is good for rugged terrain. And our team on the other side is sort of freaking out about the cap. I don't know when people will learn that you cannot fast cap encounters. I mean, encounter modes have been out now for, at least a year. And look, our T-21 professor over here is like, oh my god, they're over by the objective? Amazing! And I'm like, well, Mr. T-21, we won this battle because we didn't take the objective. So this is my couple of minutes here to get on my personal soapbox about encounter modes. The enemy team lost this battle because they focused on the objective. If taking the objective causes you to win the fight everywhere, that means that taking the objective is a bad idea. This team took the objective, and because of it, they lost the fight every single other part of the map, which means that they eventually lose the fight at the objective. So, by taking the objective, this team actually lost the objective. And you can see now that we have the enemy team encircled. The AT7 Reddit player is just kind of keeping us proxy spotted. And I really don't care. Like, he can't do anything to me. There is nobody on this team, really, that can even hurt my tank right now. The guys on the hill can snipe down at me if they want, but they're pretty well occupied by being attacked from all sides. So I really couldn't care less about that AT7 spotting me. I'm just focusing on putting out damage while I can. And this IS-3 is just giving me his side. So while I have the side and rear of the IS-3, you can bet I'm going to put as many shots into him as possible. And we get another one into the IS-3. If we can put one more into him, we'll get the kill. And there we go, secure the kill on the IS-3. And it's time to push up on the last remaining enemies. The AT-7 is no threat. Enemy KV-1S, no threat at all. You can see the mediocre penetration of this gun bouncing off the rear of a KV-1S. And we're going to put some shots into the back of the Jagdpanther 2 while he's completely defenseless. Just, farming up the last little bit of damage with our rapid-firing gun. So that's the end of that match. Crushing defeat for the enemy team. They managed to win the battle, but it cost them the war. So take that to heart. 15-4 defeat. And here's post-battle results. Victory. Look at that. Mastery badge first class. That's not bad. I'll take that. Got a Confederate award out of it as well. This was my first victory of the day, so 3,458 experience for the double. That's not too bad. And 55,800 credits. Again, not too bad. You can see the litany of destruction here. That's reasonable. We got a couple into the Jagdpanther 2. We got a couple into the KV-1S. I shot the track on this AT-7, and we got a little bit of a detection credit for the AT-7. Several shots into the KV-13, couple into the enemy Lerva, couple into the Indian Panzer, 4 into the enemy T-34, but look at that, 4 shots into that T-34, and only did 151 damage. That kind of sucks. 7 into the IS-3, got a lot of damage on him, and a couple into the M6 as well. So pretty good result, really. You can see here, sorted by the damage done. I actually did the top damage in the match with 2,491. Our Indian Panzer, our T-29, also did really, really well with 2,330 about each. The AT-7 on the enemy team, he's basically the only person in that match who even showed up to play World of Tanks. This ACM LE-46 didn't do awful. but he definitely did not do good either. And everybody else on his team just did terrible. This IS-3 put in like 2 shots. This guy put in like 1 or maybe 2 shots. This guy put in 2 shots, 2 shots. Well, that's 4 shots for a Comet, but that's still pretty bad. Bad. Like, all these guys they just didn't show up to play. So, unfortunately for this AT7, not only did his team show poor deployment judgment, but they also, once they got to their crappy positions, they didn't do anything from them. So, not a surprising defeat. Personal results here, we fired 37 shots, quite a few blind shots, managed 28 hits, and of those, 20 penetrations for almost 2,500 damage. We only got shot back 3 times, but all 3 penetrated. All 3 were also on the hull. Managed 2,236 detection credit, which is not too bad at all. I definitely will take that. Like I was talking about in the T-54 video, and in the Knowing Your Role video, the detection and assistance damage is very, very valuable. Definitely worth doing. And then here's one thing that's awesome. We made 55,804 credits. It only took a couple hundred damage, so repairs are very cheap. But just look at the ammo price on this gun. This is the gun from the Black Prince, and the ammo for it is just really cheap. So we only paid about 13,000 credits or so in ammo. That is, or ammo and repairs. That's awesome. So it allowed us to make a profit of 43,600. Even if I'd had a standard account, I still would have made a profit of 25,000, which is not bad at all. And of course, 3,458 experience. Pretty legit battle. I definitely think I'm going to enjoy the Centurion Mk. Even stock, it's still a pretty good tank. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to playing this thing more. Definitely looking forward to the Centurion 7.1. That thing looks really good. And, yeah, just enjoying my British tanks in general. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I definitely enjoyed this battle. It was a fun one. It's really fun getting new tanks and just kind of getting to know the new tanks and how they play and their strengths and weaknesses. So I definitely enjoyed this battle. If you like this, feel free to comment or give me a thumbs up or definitely subscribe if you're enjoying any of my videos. I definitely have fun. I have fun playing World of Tanks. I have fun making these videos, and any kind of interaction from anybody who watches it is definitely something I really enjoy. So feel free to like and subscribe and comment. And until next time, guys, this is Captain Dorja, and just remember, you can never have enough big guns.